Hey everyone, welcome back to Origin. Thanks a lot for following along in its progression. We're now at pre-alpha version 0.7, which has several really cool new features that I want to show you. The first is self-healing. So this is actually allowing Origin to heal errors in the code, either that it has created inadvertently or that has been created by a human engineer. And the other thing is that we now don't have to have a long conversation with Origin at the start. So it actually creates a blank canvas that you can see here very, very quickly out of the gate. And then we're able to edit it. So I'm going to say, hey, let's just turn this into something simple, like a Parisian themed hello world page, for example. And as normal, it's going to ask me some questions about exactly what I intend from that. And I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking of, a picture of the Eiffel Tower. Kind of makes sense with Paris. And for the heading, let's just say hello Paris. And reasonably, it's asking me for a bit more direction on the image. So I'm going to give it some extra information on that, just some creative direction so that it has something to work with. Okay, and it's now going to create the user story as usual. So we've got some acceptance criteria there so that we're making sure we're getting the change that we think. And I'm saying, yeah, that's fine. So it's now going to go and build all of that code. It's going to choose a name for it, Hello Paris Luminance in this instance. And sure enough, here we go. Here's the code. So it's done a pretty good job here. It's picked a nice image. It's given us the heading. It's filled in some blanks to make this a more complete site. That's really nice. Now what I'm going to do though is I'm going to jump into the actual code. So I'm going to go to the GitHub repository, which is where the code that it created actually lives. And I'm going to deliberately mess with this code. So I'm going to make some edits to this code that will break the site, the type of thing that either could have happened because a human engineer had edited it, or perhaps sometimes the models that are generating the code get things a little bit wrong, particularly if it's a more complicated site. And so it will be able to actually heal these errors. So I'm going to make them and say, look, I've broken the code. And now I'm going to go back to Origin and ask it to spin up that site. But of course, it's broken now. So it's going to look at that code and it's going to figure out that it's broken. And you see it saying, okay, there were errors. I'm going to attempt to rebuild. So it's going to figure out what those errors are now. And sure enough, it has corrected the site to give me a new image as well, which wasn't what I intended, but we'll get to that one. So just to make sure that we're not pulling out the wool over our eyes here, let's go back into the code. And we can see, sure enough, it has fixed, there's the closing tag that I broke. It's removed the typo in the code. It has healed that code, which is incredibly useful for this type of service because the models that we're using don't always come out with the perfect output. So if you're interested in what you've seen, please sign up for the alpha at www.theorigin.ia. And as usual, please reach out if you have any questions or thoughts on what we're doing. Thank you very much.